Imagine walking into one of the most prestigious royal residences in Britain, expecting another carefully choreographed day of tradition and diplomacy, only to witness an explosive confrontation that leaves palace staff frozen in disbelief. For years, the royal family has been known for keeping disagreements behind closed doors. But what if one tense exchange shattered that unwritten rule? What if Queen Camilla openly confronted Princess and in front of senior aides, forcing King Charles into one of the most uncomfortable moments of his reign? Today, we're exploring the growing tensions that many royal observers have speculated about. While the palace has never confirmed any such dramatic incident, reports of strained relationships and competing personalities have fueled endless debate. So settle in as we examine a fictionalized royal drama inspired by public discussions surrounding the modern monarchy. The atmosphere inside the palace was unusually tense from the very beginning. Senior staff hurried through the corridors with stacks of briefing papers. Advisors whispered behind polished wooden doors. A major charity event was only days away, and preparations had reached their busiest stage. King Charles had reportedly insisted that every detail reflect stability and unity. After months of difficult headlines, the monarchy desperately needed a flawless public appearance. Princess, and known for her discipline and no-nonsense attitude, had arrived early as always. For decades, and had earned a reputation as one of the hardest-working members of the royal family. Palace employees respected her because she expected professionalism from everyone, including herself. She rarely wasted words and preferred action over ceremony. Camilla entered several minutes later, accompanied by her private secretary. Witnesses would later describe the mood as polite but noticeably strained. Both women greeted one another with formal smiles, yet those observing closely sensed an unmistakable chill beneath the surface. The meeting began routinely enough. Officials reviewed seating arrangements, security procedures, speeches, transportation schedules, and media coverage. Charles listened carefully while occasionally making handwritten notes. Then the conversation shifted toward patronages and future royal responsibilities. That was when everything allegedly changed, and calmly suggested that long-standing royal traditions should remain the priority during the upcoming engagements. She argued that consistency helped preserve public confidence during periods of uncertainty. Several advisors quietly nodded. Camilla reportedly interrupted before and had finished speaking. Her tone, according to this fictional account, became noticeably firmer. "We cannot keep doing everything the old way," she allegedly remarked. The room immediately fell silent and looked directly across the table. She didn't respond immediately. Instead, she folded her hands together and waited. Charles glanced between them, sensing the growing tension. One senior official attempted to redirect the discussion back toward the event schedule. It didn't work. Camilla continued. She argued that the monarchy needed fresh approaches to remain relevant and connect with younger generations, and acknowledged that change was sometimes necessary, but insisted it should never come at the expense of institutional stability. Their disagreement quickly evolved from policy into something much more personal. Camilla allegedly suggested that certain members of the family were resistant to modern ideas simply because they had grown comfortable with tradition. Although no names were mentioned initially, many around the table reportedly understood exactly who she meant, and remained remarkably composed. Her expression barely changed. When she finally answered, her voice stayed calm. "Experience is not the enemy of progress," she reportedly replied. "It's what prevents unnecessary mistakes." Several staff members exchanged nervous glances. Charles leaned forward. He attempted to ease the tension by emphasizing that every member of the family brought valuable perspectives. But emotions had already begun to escalate. Camilla reportedly challenged Anne's influence within royal decision-making. She suggested that too much emphasis was being placed on outdated methods rather than practical realities. For perhaps the first time that morning, Anne's patience appeared to wear thin. She straightened in her chair before responding. "My loyalty has always been to the crown, not to personal ambition." The sentence landed heavily inside the room. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Charles looked visibly uncomfortable. His advisors lowered their eyes toward their briefing papers. The The silence stretched for several long seconds. Then came the moment that supposedly shocked everyone present. Camilla allegedly questioned whether and truly understood the challenges facing the modern monarchy. Several staff members later described the remark as unusually direct, and slowly turned toward her. Without raising her voice, she answered with unmistakable confidence. "I've spent my entire adult life serving this institution. I don't need lessons in duty." The room seemed to freeze. Even experienced palace officials who had witnessed decades of royal history appeared stunned. Charles finally intervened. He firmly requested that everyone focus on the day's agenda. His voice carried more frustration than anyone had expected. For a brief moment, it appeared the confrontation might finally end. Instead, another disagreement emerged almost immediately. The discussion shifted toward upcoming overseas visits, and believed resources should prioritize established charitable organizations with decades of proven results. Camilla favored highlighting newer initiatives designed to modernize the monarchy's public image. Neither position was unreasonable, yet the disagreement reflected two fundamentally different visions of the institution's future. Charles found himself trapped between two of the most influential women in his life. One was his wife. The other was his sister, a woman who had supported the monarchy through countless challenges spanning generations. According to this dramatized account, Charles attempted compromise after compromise. He suggested combining traditional engagements with newer community projects. He encouraged collaboration rather than competition, but neither side seemed willing to back down completely. Staff members reportedly became increasingly uncomfortable. Some quietly excused themselves under administrative pretexts. Others remained seated, avoiding eye contact entirely. Everyone understood that witnessing disagreements at this level was exceptionally rare. The meeting eventually came to an abrupt conclusion. Charles gathered his papers without saying another word, and calmly thanked the officials present before leaving the room with her usual measured pace. Camilla remained seated for several moments, speaking privately with her advisors. Those remaining inside the chamber reportedly described the atmosphere as emotionally exhausting. No shouting, no dramatic gestures. Just a deeply uncomfortable clash between powerful personalities whose different visions had collided in full view of palace staff. As the doors finally closed, whispers immediately spread throughout royal offices. Had the king managed to restore order? Would this disagreement remain confidential? Or had something fundamentally shifted inside the heart of the monarchy? One thing was certain. Everyone present understood they had witnessed a meeting unlike any other. And if even a fraction of these rumors reflected reality, the challenges facing King Charles were becoming far more complicated than the public could possibly imagine. As speculation swirled beyond palace walls, one message became impossible to ignore. Every monarchy faces moments of internal disagreement, but its strength is ultimately measured by how those disagreements are handled. While this story is a dramatized interpretation inspired by public discussions and unverified royal rumors, not a confirmed account, it reflects the fascination surrounding the evolving dynamics of the royal family. Whether future events bring reconciliation or renewed tension, only time will reveal the next chapter. Until then, the world continues watching every royal appearance, every gesture, and every silence, searching for clues about what may truly be happening behind palace doors.